All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is daily vlog number 178. And today, I am 100% not okay. Um, First things first, really surprised that my video from yesterday where I just complain for like half an hour has been as popular as it has, but thank you for watching. As far as today, ever since the seizure and just the dumpster fire that was my Realms game on Saturday, I am having massive anxiety spikes whenever I think about running any RPG. Like, I am waking up into panic attacks, and it's just not fun. So, I need a drink. So, um, so the plan is right now, I'm going to try and run my game tonight. I haven't really done a bunch of prep for tonight. Aside from the fact that I think my players have one more event that they have to get through in the Webwood, and then they get to a new town, which I already did my prep for like a year ago. Because again, I was planning on them showing up there a year ago. But other than that, I haven't done anything specific because my brain will just not let me focus. Yeah, it's a weird thing with panic disorder, and specifically my agoraphobia. Like, the reason I have agoraphobia, other than the fact that a lot of people don't understand what a phobia is. Like, people go, "Oh God, I'm terrified of spiders. I have such a phobia of them." No, you don't. A phobia, to get a phobia diagnosed, they don't actually look at things like, heart rate to see if you're actually afraid of it or something. What they look at is how far you are willing to go to avoid the subject of your phobia. Like, I myself could probably never be diagnosed with a phobia of elephants because I simply don't have the ability to interact with elephants in any meaningful way. Aside from going to the zoo or something like that, I can live the entirety of my life without changing a single thing to avoid meeting an elephant. With a phobia, what they look at is they look at the steps that you take to avoid the phobia and how much those steps impact your ability to live a normal life. And for me, for my agoraphobia, I physically can't leave my house. And that makes living a normal life nearly impossible. So it's not the fact that, and first of all, agoraphobia is not the fear of outdoors, it's the fear of panic attacks. Specifically, having panic attacks in a place that you can't quickly get to a safe area. It manifests as avoiding going outdoors, or in my case, avoiding leaving the place that I feel safest in, which is my room. in my house. Um, so, yeah, being completely incapable of leaving the house makes it basically impossible for me to live my life. Um, if I didn't live with my brother, I couldn't exist. Because things like getting food, yes, there are delivery services and stuff like that, but there are certain times when either delivery is not available or the things that I need are not something that can be delivered, that I need to have someone that can go places. I'm also incapable of driving anymore because if you have seizures, you're not allowed to drive. It's weird like that. So, anyway, so the reason I'm bringing up phobias is one of the reasons my agoraphobia got as bad as it did was every time you give into the fear, it makes it stronger. And I don't want people to misinterpret that as me saying, well, it's my fault I have agoraphobia. It's not. As much as phobias in general are considered irrational fears, I have a very rational reason why I don't leave my safe place. And that reason is if I have a seizure in a place where I cannot protect my head, I could get seriously hurt or die. And because of my panic disorder and the fact that a lot of my panic attacks have no trigger, I'm effectively a ticking time bomb anywhere there are hard surfaces. So I don't want people to think that I'm saying that like my agoraphobia is my fault or something like that because I gave in to the fear too often. However, every time you give in to the fear, it gets easier to do. And so I am absolutely terrified of running my game tonight. And I'm going to try to run my game tonight. I don't know if it's going to work. I 100% may still end up canceling. Because of how my brain works and my conversion disorder, there are points where it's no longer healthy for me to confront my fears. If running the game tonight turns into me having a seizure, which could be a repeat of last week, where it causes some kind of cognitive impairment, then it is not in my best interest to run tonight, and I need to work on a different way to getting back into running D&D games. And I have a therapist that I talk with. I have a team of doctors that, on the occasion that I can contact them, not because they're out of contact, but because my brain doesn't like me talking to people. I deal with them as well, and they've been wonderful. My primary care physician is the sole reason I am still alive today. He was the one that, when I came into the clinic, convulsing and with a high fever, he was the one that I still remember vividly going into the doctor's office and waiting there for like 5-10 minutes, which is normal. And I'm sitting there, my whole body is shaking, and it's not quite as violent as it could be, but it's remarkably unpleasant. And he comes in and he just takes a look at me. I think the nurse had come in and got my blood pressure and temperature and all that stuff. So he looked at my chart, he looked at me, and then just said, "Okay, stay right there." And he ran out of the room. This has never happened with my doctor before. He's a phenomenal doctor. And one of the things that I love about him is he's willing to take the time to explain the things that are going on to me, which a lot of doctors, not to knock on doctors, but a lot of doctors have this mentality that I went to 8 years of school plus had to do all this stuff in rotation and all this other stuff and had to work 18-hour days or 18-hour shifts and stuff like that. They get this mindset of if I try to explain this to you, you're not going to understand it because you are not a doctor. And for someone like me, that when I don't understand something, I immediately assume someone is trying to gaslight me. That is a really, really bad methodology to use with me. I need to understand. I also have a near genius level intellect, or at least I did before the benzos destroyed my brain. And whether or not I will remember it is irrelevant. I can pick up things relatively quickly, depending on how bad my mental state is at any given time. So my doctor normally takes the time to kind of explain everything until I understand it. And he didn't this time. He just ran out of the room, and he came back like 5 or 10 minutes later with this packet of paper and goes, "Hey, I think you have serotonin syndrome." And starts explaining what that was and says, "Hey, we're going to put you on these meds. You're also going to start seeing a psychiatrist because these particular meds are not ones that I feel comfortable monitoring. I'm going to put you on them right now because you need them in order to prevent permanent damage. However, this psychiatrist specializes in monitoring these particular drugs, and so she will be able to ensure that you're at the right dosage, make sure that everything is going the way it's supposed to, etc." So, yeah. I guess this whole thing, I am terrified about tonight. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to break down again like I did during the game on Saturday. We'll have to see what happens. And if I can't run it tonight, I can't run it tonight. It's not that I failed. It's not that, the anxiety won or the panic disorder won. It's I made a decision that was in my best interest to keep me safe and to keep me as healthy as possible. And until it gets to the point where it's just physically impossible for me to do it anymore, I'm going to continue finding ways to do this because I believe running the D&D games is important for my own mental health. And it's important for me as a person. It makes me feel, this is the thing about being disabled, is you feel worthless all the time. You just feel like a strain on everybody around you. That you are just this lump of nothingness that takes up space and takes up resources that could be better used on literally anything else. And it's one of the most difficult things to overcome when you have a disability like mine, where I'm 100% permanent and total. You feel like this absolute drain on society. And those feelings can manifest in very, very negative ways. And so running D&D games and things like that, and tabletop RPGs, and doing the daily vlog, doing my in-depth reviews, doing Essential Essence 20, those things make me feel like I'm not a massive drain on society. And they are positive ways to deal with the frustration that I feel every day being unable to do the things that I want to do. So we'll see what happens. But if anyone's watching this and you're struggling with anxiety or depression or any of a myriad of other invisible disabilities, giving in to them is a dangerous precedent to set. But just because it might be unhealthy does not mean that it always is. And understanding your limitations and knowing when you can push yourself and when you do need to understand that your disabilities limit you is really important. So, we'll find out tonight which of those options it is. That's all for me today. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.